Hello everyone. The University of Alberta acknowledges that we are located on Treaty 6 territory and respects the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our vibrant community. My name is Victoria Retalo, and I am the Chair of Modern Languages and Cultural Studies. We administer the Stuart Ramsay Tompkins Endowment, which enables the university to invite visiting scholars and eminent historians to be made jointly with the Department of History. The duties and responsibilities of such visiting scholars will include public lectures, teaching, and consultation as determined from year to year at the time of selection. This endowment's broad intention was for Canadians to benefit from such scholarship from the Slavic part of the world. Such collaborations have enriched MLCS and the university community more broadly. We host scholars from all over the world and use these visits to enhance our knowledge and increase our networks, building our connections worldwide. Today, we are very lucky to have Dr. Lada Tsymbala join us and showcase the work she has done while visiting the University of Alberta. And I am going to let Dimitro introduce Dr. Tsymbala to you today, but I just wanted to talk about the importance of having visiting scholars come and be part of our community. And let's welcome Dimitro.
Thank you. And just to remind you that this Curator's talk is part of larger research project of Dr. Tsymbala and of the exhibition which is happening now in Ortona Arts Hub in the building of Ortona Armory, which is about 10 minutes drive from here. Dr. Lada Tsymbala is an associate professor in the Department of History and Theory of Arts at the Lviv National Academy of Arts since 1999. In 2003, she earned her doctorate in art studies, specializing in decorative and applied arts, with a dissertation titled Co-Living in Galicia from the 18th to the first third of the 20th centuries, History, Typology, and Characteristics of Art and Style. Dr. Tsymbala is the author of numerous monographs and articles and is frequently invited to present lectures and conference papers both in Europe and North America. Dr. Tsymbala, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you so much, dear Dmitro. Dear colleagues, students, and art historians, maybe designers, thank you for coming. I appreciate to introduce you my presentation today. I want to present a short story of artist success. A story of Vадим Доброліж, success in Canadian cultural experience of 1560s. Last week, in a partnership with Kule Folklore Center of the University of Alberta, especially with Director Dr. Larissa Цимбалюк-Челадин and PhD candidate Dmytro Yesipenko, we opened multimedia exhibit dedicated to the Vадим Доброліж artistic heritage in the Canadian cultural experience in the new rebuilt Ortona Art Hub in Edmonton. Thanks to the support of Curator program, the Department of Modern Languages and Cultural Studies, the Shevchenko Foundation, and the Alberta Ukrainian Commemorative Society, this project has now come to fruition. It is obvious that the direct organization of the exposition is the merit of the Kule Folklore Center and the enthusiasm of the center director Larissa Цимбалюк-Челадин, Dmytro Yesipenko, and all Kule Center team. Project which we hope spark creative ideas that continue the legacy of the Dobrolige estate, enriching the community and everyone. The multimedia exhibition presents 5 narratives of different genres: post-war painting, sacred art, urban design in Edmonton, theater projects, and fashion, and also graphic design. These 5 seemingly disparate stories reflect different creative directions in portraits, graphic logo, monumental murals depicting everyday life, shop windows, displays and theater stages, a synthetic system of decorating sacred spaces. Each of the artist's 5 thematic stories possess its own life and linear continuity, from realism to impressionism, from replication to interpretation, and from literal representation to professional stylization within the zeitgeist, ultimately forming an individual's creative style. All Dobrolige's thematic successes stem from his persistent research and academic professionalism. His training in drawing, tone, color, shape, motion, and especially light, particularly sharp, dynamic theatrical light, enabled him to see a bay window, a scene from The Wizard of Oz, and divine light in a Christian church in the same artistic focus. Once, in 1962, Karen Harding, Edmontonian journalist, said, "The range of artistic achievement is wide. It roams from painting of religious themes to modern commercial art. Such a range might be thought too broad for one man to travel." This, however, is not the case with local artist, sculptor, scenario painter, and interior designer Вадим Доброліж, who has traveled all these roads, and others as well. And who was this man of many talents? Вадим Доброліж, 1913-1973, was uniquely multifaceted artist who received his professional education at the Kyiv Art Institute in Ukraine in the 1930s. Upon his arrival to Canada in the 1560s, he contributed to the development of a model of Ukrainian sacred art in Alberta, designing the interior of more than 50 churches. He also established himself as a successful set designer for numerous theater performances in Edmonton, designed various hotel and restaurant interiors, and organized artistic events within the city's Ukrainian community. The trajectory of his academically trained painter shifted significantly after he moved to Canada. In a society focused on urban development and consumer culture, the need for an academically trained artist transformed into demand for decorators, festival designers, and showcase creators. Let's briefly consider all the artist's 5 thematic stories and the key aspect of the artist's heritage. The first part or our multimedia exhibition dedicated to the post-war period, war and post-war period, and named Not So Easy to Be an Artist, Вадим Доброліж activity during the Second World Migration. Just a one sentence, survival. The wartime, a specific choice for every artist. For the young artist Вадим Доброліж, who received an education in Kyiv Art Institute, was oppressed by the Soviet system and exiled to Siberia. The time of Second World War was a difficult part of survival. It was captivity in Nazi camp in 1941, work as a mechanic in occupied Kyiv in 1942-43, work as a set designer at the Alexander Dovzhenko Film Studio, 1943, escape with his family from Soviet troops to the West in 1943-45, creative searches in the camp for temporary displaced person, Heidenau, Hanover, 1945-47, and finally, a trip to the free world, dream to Canada, 1948. During the war and early post-war period, Вадим Доброліж created a lot of portraits, landscapes, story scene, in which he showed considerable talent and high professional academic abilities. Custom-made portraits are Вадим Доброліж's way of surviving as an artist both in the reality of the Soviet regime and in the camp of the Allied forces in Hanover. Common features: representative, professional, anatomical drawing, pronounced individual style. And from this period we have a lot of amazing landscape, like Hanover landscape, Diepholz landscape, a lot of still life, amazing, with cabbage, still life, well, flowers. We have very nice still life with flowers. And it's interesting what a painter said about his own artistic style. I'm what you would call impressionist. I use color more than classical painters to give stronger impression, but I believe in the form of the thing I'm painting. It's very important. And next, step by step, to the Albertian art community. We can see the first steps of Dobrolige's success in the new reality. First note about artist activity published in the Edmonton Journal in May 1949. It was an exhibition in Vegreville, and in this photo we can see the work of artists. Also in display were several paintings by Вадим Доброліж, Camp British Zone of Germany, originally from Kyiv, Ukraine, sponsored and brought to Vegreville just July by Petro Zvarich. It was published in Edmonton Journal in May 1949. Sponsored and brought to Vegreville by priest of Ukrainian church Vasil Zvarich. Вадим Доброліж made a polychromy of the St. Volodymyr Ukrainian Orthodox Church. This work did also new for an academic training artist and stage designer. Next steps, exploring Canadian nature, culture, and life. In the first years of his stay in Canada, Вадим Доброліж built a name for himself. The professionalism of graphic artist, painter, set designer allowed the artist not only to reproduce the beautiful Canadian nature in color, but also to illustrate the vivid scene of the life of Canadian people. In the plot panels that the author created in the early 50s for the decor of many public interiors of Alberta resort towns, in particular Cascade Hotel in Banff, we see valuable narrative story of the lives of hunters, railway workers, vacationers of golf clubs or skaters, panorama view. Complicated iconography and fantastic dynamics focus to the object, Dobrolige's artist manner, and color as a prominent mean of artistic impression. It's very interesting. In this slide, we can compare the Вадим Доброліж gouache sketch saved in the Medvedski archive of Kule Folklore Center and real large mural painting from now saved in the White Museum in Banff. Different color, more realistic interpretation of the figures, but same iconography, same panorama view. One remark for the, especially for young student in the early 50s, Вадим Доброліж, like other artists, didn't have a panorama view in his iPhone, that fixed round focus. But he be able to see the space and all the shapes and figures within. I think it's very interesting and important. Same panorama focus and more expression, moving figure, we can see on the canvas. Skaters and ski jumpers, and also dynamic mural. Next part, it's a name, next part of exhibition named a mobile artist in a mobile artist in a mobile city. Edmonton Landscape of 50 and 60 by Vadym Dobrolige. From Hudson's Bay decorations to the total interior design and commercial art. From realistic and illusionism to synthetic styling. In 1955 from 1955 to 1954, Vadym Dobrolige worked as executive Hudson's Bay Company decorator. The first experience decorating the Bay Building for street festivals, royal procession, especially for the princess later, Queen Elizabeth with Edmonton in 1951, Queen Elizabeth coronation in 1953. For the city of Edmonton, it was definitely a very important event. As a good trained painter, Vadym Dobrolige created a huge portrait of the Queen to decorate the Bay Gable, just from the printed photo in the Life magazine. Just we can see. It's incredible. A photo of this unique process saved today also within the folder of the Vadym Dobrolige document in the Bogdan Medvitsky archive of Kule Folklore Center. Same we can see about woodcut, large crown, but sorry, it is not Vadym Dobrolige, it young student helped them. Made by Vadym Dobrolige, used by the Bay Building decoration in 1953. Next steps, Hudson's Bay decoration, windows display in early 50s. As we can see, Vadym Dobrolige used static and dynamic story in the design of the window. Just he did one stage appealing to the possibility of lights. In some places we see Christmas decoration on the same level. Big Santa on a corner of bay. But this experience allowed the artist to enter the professional design scene. Hudson's Bay window display goes recognition. In 1953, the Edmonton Press published First Step Towards Self-Promotion. It was first promotion of the artist. And we will see advertising led the designer to success. Also in 1953, the artist designed and decorated the famous cafeteria in Hudson's Bay, which became a memorable place for many Edmontonians and was widely publicized in local press. All seen, like Edmonton Journal said, all seen are English, except one. The exception is in southwest corner a picture of Inner Ulster in Hamburg, Germany. Hamburg was one part of Kule, the long trail to Edmonton. Perhaps that's why he chose the scene of which to sign his name so that people could look at the name Vadym Dobrolige and say, oh, I wonder if there is a story in that. It word of Cash Mentoni in Edmontonian magazine in February 1955. Here we can see also Hudson's Bay Cafeteria. It's in press in Edmonton Journal. We have a unique possibility to see the real Bay, Hudson's Bay Cafeteria mural from slide. Now it's slide also. The slide served now in Kule Folklore Center, and many of Edmontonians remember that scene of cowboy scene, and here is an artist behind the work. By the end of 50s, Vadym Dobrolige had decorated dozens of well-known and lesser-known local restaurant complexes. For the most part, these were thematic murals that were close to the name of the establishment and its purpose. Yes, they were sometimes simple plot scene, also realistically interpreted, but they reflected the fashion and taste of the citizen at that time. It was a real story, Klondike like this. Vadym Dobrolige's success and fame as a designer was undoubtedly commented after opening the famous Sahara restaurant, in Edmonton in 1956. Here, Dobrolige's creative idea for the interior design were not limited to thematic panels. Oriental flavor, recognizable Egyptian ornaments, and work with a new material, mosaic, which was so, it's the exterior of the restaurant, which was so characteristic of the art of the East. Given the style of the restaurant's advertising poster, we can assume that it was also created by Vadym Dobrolige. Sahara holistic, colorful, moody design can be complemented by Vadym Dobrolige's words that talent is not enough for painter. You need deep knowledge. We can see that in the process of designing the Oriental restaurant, he studied Egyptian ornaments, painting, the color of ancient Egypt, and learned the mosaic techniques. And this was a success. Vadym Dobrolige managed to realize the interpretation of the tradition of not only Middle but also the Far East in another grand project, the interior design of the Seven Seas restaurant. To do this, he studied Japanese, Chinese, Oceania art for a long time. Again, triumph, recognition, credible press reviews, and fame. The renovation of Seven Seas. Here you can see the sketches in an archive. We have a lot of sketches from the Seven Seas restaurant. Chinese dragons and lanterns, Oriental painting, colored photographs, and many other decorative art novelties combined that take the diner on a colorful tour of the Pacific the moment he enters the doors of Seven Seas. Much of the Oriental artwork was created by Vadym Dobrolige, a well-known Edmonton artist and interior decorator. Seven Seas marks the renovation. It was published in Edmonton Journal in March 1967. here a lot of interior and a lot of sketches, and aquarelle sketches, gouache sketches for Seven Seas. It was largest restaurant in Western Canada in 1960s. The next grand project that gained notoriety in Edmonton community was the mural that Vadym Dobrolige created for the Eskimo bowling alley. In the Edmonton Journal, we can see the longest mural in Edmonton has been mounted on the wall above the automatic pensetting machine in the 36-lane Eskimo bowl. The mural painted by Edmonton artist Vadym Dobrolige is 209 feet long and 7 feet high. The mural depicts life-size scenes of Eskimos with their dog team and igloos. Hunting and fishing, interspersed with Arctic dwellers, are another kind of Eskimo, members of the Edmonton Eskimo football team, and colorful action. One scene, for example, from journal citation, shows referee Paul Dojak, the central figure of the Eskimos, score a touchdown. The referee's arms are flung upward in the traditional signal. It took Mr. Dobrolige a month to paint the mural, and his work escaped the recent Selkirk Hotel fire by only 1 hour. Because of the enormous size of the mural, the artist painted it in sections. He used a vacant store next door to the hotel for a temporary studio and had only taken the rolled canvases to the Eskimo bowl hours before the fire broke out. The studio suffered severe water and smoke. It was published in Edmonton Journal on January 2, 1963. Also, today, these historical scenes are lost. We have a unique opportunity to recreate the mural and scene thanks to the sketches and slides that are now stored in the archive of Medvedski in the Kule Center at the University of Alberta. Like other Dobrolige murals, the scene in the Eskimo bowl are panoramic and very illustrative, narrative in nature, creating a story that the viewer can understand close in theme and content. Next part of Vadym Dobrolige activities in Edmontonian culture scene is stage design. The stage miracle in the painter focus. Vadym Dobrolige drama sets and fashion shows. As a decorator and stage designer, the artist distinguished himself by executing many decorative and successful stage settings for musical plays and operas, namely La Traviata, Carmen, Wizard of Oz, South Pacific, Oklahoma, Brigadoon, Flower Drum Song, a few other. He prepared the sets for the Alberta Ballet Company's production of Snow White, Red and Rose Res, and Peter and the Wolf, as well as many others. His success as a decorator and stage designer rested largely on his ability to sense and interpret the mood and spirit of the play or opera, and on his understanding of how to use stage lighting to further enhance the setting. In the Edmontonian press, next slide, it's the first drama, Wizard of Oz sketch. For the group's presentation of the Wizard of Oz, Vadym Dobrolige has created sets that are solid yet imaginative, attractive, and beautifully executed. Some ingenious stage effects have been used to bring about the miraculous results of witchcraft, and the characters look almost exactly as they are supposed to look. It is no trouble to believe that the land of the stage is indeed the land of Oz. Civic Opera Wizard Show, Edmonton Journal, 1958. Oh, sorry. Next, it's Annie Get Your Gun. Next slide shows the sketches. In the 60s and 70s, stage design realism was intensely saturated with associativity. All the possible means of artistic conventionality that had previously been inherent to such an extent only in poetry. Metaphor, metonymy, rhyme, pose, meter, etc. rushed onto the stage. In scenography project, layouts, sketches, extremely rich imaginary turned into many technical innovation. And Vadim Dobrolige, as set designer, was one of the first on Edmonton stage to introduce the latest technical and expressive means, like rounding stage, and also first one was presented in St. John Cathedral for Ukrainian bar. And in this field, he was also successful. This is set study, funny, very nice sketch, pastel sketch. It's same stage, but it's light, it's real, funny, from 60s. Kiss Me Kate, another project. It's a stage, real stage, Kiss Me Kate photo. And the Edmonton reviewers also approved of Dobrolige's design of the Carmen in 1964 and La Traviata in 1965. Burroughs and says in Edmonton Journal, when I found Vadim Dobrolige's name of the program as set designer, I was not surprised to learn through my vicarious eyes of sets that were simple and functional and beautiful, with significant contrast from the brocaded elegance of Violetta's first apartment to the subdued mauve and white of the room on which reconciliation and death resolve the drama. Burroughs and opera scores hit Edmonton Journal, October 6, 1965. Another sketch from Carmen and La Traviata. Vadim Dobrolige's success as a stage designer can also thank it to his entire creative family. His wife, Valentina, was a well-known pianist in Edmonton, and his daughter, Natalia, was a famous dancer. Often, Natalia became a model of the artist's imaginative sketches, in which he tried to express the plasticity of movements, dynamic and expressions of dance. Thanks to his creative family and activities, in the Ukrainian community, Vadim Dobrolige took an active part in stage design, costume modeling, and poster design for the performances of the famous Shumka dance ensemble. It is interesting that the artists used the same motif. It's a Shumka poster sketch also. Figure, dancing couple, also sketch from Shumka. Same use of that couple, same motif of dancing couple in the poster for Shumka performances, only changing the color and font and the poster. We can see same figures in the same pose. It was in area of costume design, graphic design, and obviously in sacred art in that Vadim Dobrolige continued Ukrainian national traditions. in the use of traditional Ukrainian ornamentation, embroidery, and recognizable symbols. His family and Ukrainian community at St. John's Cathedral in Edmonton were key of this path. In 1969, here is wife Valentina, pianist and designer, and daughter Natalia. In 1969, Vadym Dobrolige, among others, designed more than 10 fashionable women's ensembles decorated with traditional embroidery. And Mrs. Valentina Dobrolige organized the show in the hall of St. John Church. Sketch of the costumes are kept today in the Ukrainian Museum of Canada, Alberta branch. Here is samples of garments with Ukrainian embroidery. And again, it was a success. Moreover, the success is caught not only in the Ukrainian community. It was the end of the 60s that ethnic fashion dominated all the world stages, and Ukrainian embroidery adapted to new fashion trends in the best possible way. Finally, it was Ukrainian Ball in 1969, and photo also from Edmonton Journal with Vadim Dobrolige and women, a lot of women, 1969. Dobrolige was an expert in church art. During the period of the time between 55 and 70s, Vadym Dobrolige produced a series of polychromy. That was his photo. Series of polychromies, icons, iconostasis for Ukrainian churches in a different place in Alberta, namely Redway, Wellington, Andrew, Myrna, Haley, Hell, Lamont, Hollow Lake, Athabasca, and Edmonton, and beside others. With each sketch, with each project, the construction and decor of the iconostasis created by the artist during the 50s and 60s is getting more complicated. In his first work, Dobrolige performed construction based on the appeal to the classical style. The royal door always served as the center of the composition and are crowned with relief decor. Further, it's a polychromy proposal. It's ornament for iconostas. Further, the construction became more complicated to 3 or 4 tiers and acquires stylistic features characteristic of Ukrainian Baroque. Dobrolige's last and most outstanding work, which may be regarded as a triumph of his artistic achievement, was the design and execution of the iconostasis of St. John Orthodox Cathedral in Edmonton. This huge project, which taxed the artist to the almost of his ability and energy, took 3 years to complete, 1970-1973. The iconostasis is executed in the Cossack Baroque style and enriching, embellished with ornamentation of intertwining grape motif and other traditional elements intrinsic to this grand style. It's a word by Ivan Kayvan, who made Vadym Dobrolige album in 1955. But sacred art, more than 50 churches decorated by Vadym Dobrolige in Alberta. It's I know that a team of special deep research project. For us today, the most important thing is to show the weight and significance of Vadym Dobrolige's work for the multicultural field of Edmonton in the 50s and 60s, to reveal the story of one person's success in different areas of creativity. And the most important thing for the artist, designer, following fashion, following consumers, is not to lose his or her own name, his or her own creative style. And as we can see, Vadim Dobrolige has successfully passed this path. And I wish you, especially for students, as future designers, to be successful and not to lose your personal creative identity. Personal, in Ukrainian. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.